Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. What am I going to talk about today? Today I'm going to talk about 6 avenues where you can keep your wealth locked up rather than keeping it as cash. I want to quickly walk through, give you some food for thought. You can look at maybe moving some of your cash into one of these if so you choose to. The first one is precious metal. We have gold, we have silver, and we have platinum. Historically, they've always been the 3 favored metals to take currency into, especially if it's a flight for safety. Throughout history, it's always been gold. Silver has also been there, and platinum is something which has come recently. And there's investment methods for investing in these is either physically you buy gold, silver, or platinum, or you can also have ETFs, or you can be innovative and you can buy mining stocks, companies which are mining in gold or these silver or platinum. You can invest in these companies. You indirectly are owning these companies. It's like how we're buying Muthoot or buying Manapuram. We're actually buying gold. It's the same kind of idea behind buying a company which is involved in these metals. Precious metals is one. Two, industrial commodities. Industrial commodities are commodities which are used in industries. These are semi-precious, precious elements which we use, such as cobalt, nickel, copper, and lithium is one of these other things which people are nowadays talking about. They are very attractive because there's a high demand for industrial use for these metals. There's mined and they're exported and sent all over the world. And electric cars and renewable energies are very dependent on these metals. And you can even see a lot of huge companies are always in the limelight for trying to buy mining rights and mining access to these metals. Recently, also near Greenland or Iceland, it came up where even Microsoft owner Bill Gates was involved in a company which is trying to corner in some rights to mining cobalt there where they've been finding cobalt. So this is the reason you can look at this as another avenue of resting your cash in as a safety. And how do you invest into these companies? You can't go out and buy, of course, kilos of nickel, copper, and cobalt and keep it in your locker. The way you have to invest in this is through the mining companies again, or commodity-focused mutual funds. There are these commodity futures are also there, and people invest in these futures. I would not suggest because that's a bit of a gamble. But you can also focus on the companies and you can also focus on commodities focused mutual funds. Those are 2 options for getting your fingers wet into industrial commodities. 3, safe haven currencies. Safe haven currencies are currencies which are considered to be very stable and very strong, and they don't usually suffer too much of devaluation, and they're backed by very strong economies. And the famous example is the Swiss franc. Even during Europe's fight against inflation, the Swiss did not have too much inflation. Their inflation was very manageable and very low compared to the rest of Europe. And this goes to show how strong and resilient the Swiss economy is and their currency is. And one of the ways to invest into this is through ETFs. And you can directly get into forex trading and buy these currencies and diversify and protect yourself if something you want to think about. 4, value stocks and dividend-focused mutual funds. Value stocks are less risky and less volatile, and they offer steady dividends. And you have specific mutual funds which focus on this kind of stocks and ETFs which are there. So you can diversify your exposure depending on your risk appetite into this and reducing your overall risk. So that is also another option which you can look at, which is number 4. 5 is real estate and land. Real estate and land, yes, its appreciation capital has been a bit of a question mark nowadays because of the way the real estate market is globally. But this is talking about in long term, and historically, real estate has always been, land has always been a good asset class to have money parked in. I wouldn't recommend this right now, but the way you can take some exposure into this is also through companies which are REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust. You can invest in them. And other ways also, there's crowdfunding options which are there. I wouldn't suggest crowdfunding because it's not so regulated as much as REITs are. So this is another option where you invest in these companies, and these companies are huge land banks. Very famously, BlackRock is one of them. They have a lot of assets, real estate assets throughout the world, and they collect a lot of rental income. And by owning the share, you're actually owning these buildings through them. 6 is something eclectic. It's called collectibles, which is like art, luxury items, vintage cars. Yes, they can appreciate over time if you invest correctly in the right ones. I'm not an expert in this. I cannot offer much more nuanced light in that subject matter other than saying it is an asset class, recognized asset class, though I do not preach about it, nor do we talk about it because it's not in my circle of competence. But if you are something which you're interested in, I'm sure you can read about it, deep dive into it and find out a lot more information. It should be driven by your interest is what my rule is usually when it comes to these kind of items. That means if you're interested in music and you're interested in guitars, you can look at vintage guitars. If you're interested in cars, then you can look at vintage cars. It should be aligned to your interest, is my suggestion to you. Please do not pick an interest where you have no idea anything about. Meaning you read an article today about how a certain socks has a certain luxury class to it and people are buying it, or you read about famously handbags. I do not know anything about handbags. Just because I see a couple of YouTube videos and I see women's handbag being bought and being appreciated by so many thousand euros or dollars, I shouldn't run to Dubai and just start picking up random bags. Doesn't work like that. So keep it aligned to your interests and something which you read about and you keep yourselves interested in. Of course, you can also, if you don't have funds for it, you can pool together and do fractional ownership. So we have a group of friends who share the same kind of interest, and all of you want to invest into an asset class like that, you guys can pool in together and buy a vintage car or a vintage art, whatever you wish to do. That's another way to take exposure into this. So I've given you, to conclude, 6 different ways you can invest and park your money rather than keeping it cash in the bank. Of course, we have always spoken about stocks because that's our circle of confidence and that's where we have seen maximum growth and that's where we can see minimum risk and has maximum flexibility. And it's something which we know a lot about because we have spent a lot of time on it. Other than that, these are the other investment class which are out there. I'm sure if you go to YouTube and you enter any one of them, there'll be millions of people who have done lots of videos about each one of these topics, and you can definitely read and know more about it. I would love to hear your comments and thoughts down below. So Albin will read them, and I'm sure in the next video I can force him to come and join us again. He's currently sitting off screen from this camera, shaking his head. This whole video was his concept. He gave me all the notes to talk about it, and he's been coaching me from the back. But he's still feeling very shy, though the comments have been very positive about him being on this channel. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for being with me on Be Rich today, and I'll try my best to bring Albin in the next one. Bye.
So after Kuwait, my team has decided to do an event in Trivandrum. Those who are desirous of meeting me in Trivandrum can contact our team at trivandrummp@gmail.com, the mail ID given below, or the WhatsApp number given below. My team would fill in you with the details. The event would be in January 2024. It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.